Hey, what's up everybody? Like Butter here, and today I have an amazing video chock full of information with all of the things that we can expect in the upcoming free update that's going to be dropping on April 12th called 1.1 Incursions. There was a dev stream today where they talked about all of the things that are going to be in the update, and I want to relay this information to you guys so that you don't have to go and watch an hour stream. You can watch, a 10-15 minute video here and get all the information. But I am so excited. I have about 3 pages of notes just from writing things down from what the devs were talking about. All of the things that are going to be in this free update. So whether you have it on PS4, Xbox One, or PC, you're going to be receiving this free update on April 12th. Now, the first thing they talked about in the dev stream was gear sets. Now, if you played a game like Diablo or any game like that, you know that gear sets are basically a piece of gear that requires other pieces of gear together to kind of inflict a better talent or better attributes on that gear. So they talked about 4 different gear sets that are going to be implemented in this DLC: Path of a Nomad, Sentry's Call, Striker's Battle Gear, and Tactician's Authority. I'm going to show a screenshot right now of what the color of the gear is going to be, so you know when you get like that darker green drop, that's going to be one of the gear set items. These gear set items are pretty rare. You're going to be able to get them in the Incursion, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, and also like in the Dark Zone and other places as well. So if you've been playing the game as much as me, you know that once you hit level 30, the game kind of changes. It has a lot of end game content. So when you do hit level 30, instead of your level being shown in the bottom right hand corner when you're doing like the incursions and stuff like that, people are going to be able to see your gear score. So your gear score is going to take place of your level 30, since this is kind of more end game content that they're giving us. There's a couple of equations that determine what your gear score is, but basically it's going to be how good your gear is and how many gear sets you have working together to give you a certain score. The gear sets are going to have a little bit stronger stats than like the golds, but the golds are still going to be viable because the gold items or the high-end items have their own talents where the gear sets do not. The gear sets need to be working together in order to get those extra talents and extra attributes. When you collect 4 of them, you're going to get special talents and some stat boosts, so it's going to be really awesome that we have to go back in and grind for more loot. They also mentioned that there's going to be new named weapons as well, so we can definitely look forward to maybe some new weapons that are going to be coming from the Incursion and other things like that. So trading is also going to be added in this update. So how the trading system is going to work is if you get a piece of gear, maybe say you and your group are running in the Dark Zone and you get something that you don't need, but one of your squad mates needs it, instead of like picking it up and then leaving the group and letting them kill you to extract it, it's going to be a little bit different now. Basically what's going to happen is you're going to go into one of the Dark Zone checkpoints and you're going to be able to drop that loot for your squad mate. So you kind of want to be careful if you're, squatting up with people you don't know, because they can steal your weapon if they're in the Dark Zone checkpoint with you. So you just want to be a little bit careful about that. If that is the case, you definitely want to leave that group and just, party up with the person that you're trading with, and they can go in there and they can drop the weapon for you up to 2 hours after getting the item. So there's about a 2-hour window from when you get that item, so that kind of keeps people from having an item like for weeks and weeks, and then trading it. What would happen, it would kind of break the looting system, because people would then be able to like go online and be talking about trades and stuff. You have to be in the squad with the person that gets the drop. So I think this is good because you can trade between friends, but it won't make it so that global trading is kind of broken. Another new thing that they're going to be adding is called assignments. Now, what assignments are going to be is basically challenges such as, like in Battlefront or Battlefield, games like that, where you have like daily challenges to complete. So say like get 30 SMG kills or something like that. The challenges are going to be like, say, kill 10 cleaners, or maybe kill 5 rogues, or stuff like that. So it's basically just things to do during the day to get Phoenix credits, Division tag effects and maybe even some gear they talked about. So that's really cool that they're adding that in. So on top of the daily, like, challenge missions, you're going to also have other things to do called assignments. So there's also going to be a part of the map opened up with this update as well, whereas like the incursion is going to take place, which is underground. And I think part of the map for like encounters and that kind of thing too. They showed it on the map very briefly. I'm not too sure about that, but it looked like there was like encounters and other missions there. And one thing that I really thought was interesting is the developers mentioned the rogue status, how the recent changes they made, and how they really like the way it's going. People are spending about double the time in the Dark Zone since the rogue changes. I saw a couple of people in chat kind of whining about there being too many rogues, but I wouldn't say like 2 to 3 rogues on a server of 24 people is too many rogues. I think those are the people that just like the rogue system the way it was, where they could just kind of farm NPCs in the Dark Zone and never have to worry about somebody killing them. But it seems like the devs really like the way it is now, so it doesn't seem like we're going to get any changes to the rogue status, which is very good. I was very happy to hear that. So another thing that they talked about, which I was the most excited for, was supply drops. Now, if any of you guys have ever played like H1Z1 Battle Royales, I think it's called H1Z1 King of the Kill now, where when you're in a Battle Royale, there's random airdrops around the map where you can go and you can get weapons and get loot and get things like that. Well, there's going to be random drops in the Dark Zone. Now, they didn't specifically say if the drop's going to come from the sky or how you're going to know where it is, but about every hour, there's going to be a drop somewhere in the Dark Zone where there's going to be tons of NPCs around it, where you have to go in with your squad and clear it out. And the first squad or first group that gets there gets loot, and you don't even need to extract the loot. The loot is instantly going to go in your inventory because it's not considered contaminated, since they said it comes from a place that's not contaminated. So I'm assuming it is going to drop from the sky, which would be amazing, because that way everyone would know where it is. It's going to be absolute madness. There's going to be gunfights all over the place, people fighting for this loot. It is amazing. And they said they're going to be constantly making updates to the Dark Zone through the weeks to come. So to hear this is absolutely amazing, because I spend most of my time in the Dark Zone. So hearing that there's going to be like massive fights over a certain part of the map is really going to add an objective to the Dark Zone that we need. Another cool update that doesn't really affect the Dark Zone too much is the Spectator update. Now, when you're doing like challenger missions and stuff like that, I don't think this is going to work in the Dark Zone, but you know how like when you die, you kind of have to just sit there and watch your person just laying down dead, and there's really not much you can do, like you can't really help your teammates or anything like that? Well, you're going to be able to spectate your teammates and use like kind of a ghost cam and make call outs for certain things. So that's awesome that they listened to the community and added a Spectator Mode, because I'm pretty sure it's been how long since we've asked the H1Z1 devs to put a Spectator Mode in for Battle Royales, and they still haven't done that, I don't think. So the fact that, Massive instantly put in a Spectator Mode in the first update, a free update at that, is absolutely amazing. I'm so happy that they're listening to the community and making these changes so quickly. Okay, now let's talk about the main thing that's going to be in this update called Incursions. Incursions are going to be raid-like missions that are going to take a lot of thinking and a lot of teamwork in order to beat them. They're going to have multiple parts. It sounds much like the raid from Destiny, where you're going to have to figure things out and kind of work together and use your brains to finish certain parts of the mission. It's going to be underground. You're going to be fighting the LMB. There's also going to be vehicles involved. They showed a little bit of a teaser where it's like an LMB tank, so I'm assuming that tank is going to be one of the bosses that you have to fight, and you may have to figure out how to destroy that tank. It's going to require a lot of teamwork, but not only a lot of teamwork. They said that it's recommended that you go in with the gear sets and different gear sets as that, working as a squad, and it seems like with these gear sets, there's going to be a lot more positions involved, whereas like one player will be a support, one player will be DPS, another one will be a healer, that kind of thing. The incursions are no respawn, so like if you guys die or one of you dies, you have to pick that player up. There's no like respawn like there is in the regular challenging modes in some parts where you can just respawn again. So you're going to have to make sure that you're on the ball with every single move that you make in the incursions. The incursions are only 4 players. I think a lot of people were kind of upset about that because they thought it was going to be like 8-person raids, but I'm sure that's going to be in the future. But it is kind of like a raid, you know, like with the in-depth things that you're going to need to do. Now, they stressed so many times that this incursion is going to be extremely hard. There's 2 difficulties. There's hard, and then I think it's either challenging or hardcore mode or something like that. They named the other mode, but I don't think I caught it in the stream. So there's going to be 2 modes, and even the hard mode, they said, is extremely difficult. Even if you have level 31 gear and you're completely geared, it's going to be extremely hard. And they said they got their best team from Ubisoft that is extremely good at games to test the incursion, and it took them a couple of days to do it on the hardest mode. And then they made it even harder. So plenty of times throughout the entire stream, they just kept stressing how hard this incursion was going to be. So I think a lot of people like myself are going to be very, very excited to do this, and I'm definitely up for a challenge. For completing the incursions, you're going to get like set items and maybe even some weapons they mentioned. So there is a lot of content coming in this Falcon Lost Incursions update. I am so excited. I am so just absolutely baffled that they're giving us this much free content in the first update. I am so excited for future streams to come and future videos. If you enjoyed this video and you found this information helpful, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Thank you so much for all the recent support on my channel. It's been absolutely overwhelming to be growing so fast, and I have you guys to thank for it. I've been Like Butter, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Take it easy, everybody.